So Man City captain Vincent Kompany this week completed 10 years at Eastlands. Considering the turnover of players, managers and ideas of that club, it shows what a monster he is that he was able to outlast them all. Let's take a look at the starting 11 from his debut, a 3-0 win over West Ham in August 2008. Joe Hart. 10 years ago, Joe Hart was a 21-year-old up-and-coming goalkeeper who was effectively having to fight Peter Schmeichel's son for the number 1 jersey. Hart would soon get spat out on loan to Birmingham, where he'd do well, return to City to piss in Shay Given's cornflakes, before enjoying 6 straight seasons as the undisputed number 1, with the shampoo enthusiast winning far more trophies than a man of his modest talents probably should have. As we all know, Pep Guardiola viewed him as about as much use as a wet paper bag. Signing Claudio Bravo as your replacement, a man with chocolate wrists, is the biggest insult. After a bunch of uninspiring loan spells, he's finally ended his 12-year City association by signing for Burnley. Micah Richards. If you thought Hart's career tumbled off a cliff, Micah Richards' one has been buried 6 feet under for the last 4 years. Back in 2008, it felt as though Richards was one of City's more experienced players, considering he nearly had 100 appearances for the first team under his belt, but the lad was still only 20 years old. One of England's supposed shining lights, injuries hacked away at his potential. Like Hart, he decided a loan spell to Italy might rejuvenate him. Like Hart, it did absolutely nothing. He signed for Aston Villa in 2015, struck up a comedy duo partnership with City old boy Julian Lescott as they sailed into the Championship. He's finally been released, having spent the last 3 years no doubt stuck in the canteen. Veteran Troy Luka. 10 years ago, veteran Troy Luka was actually one of City's better performers. Nowadays, a player like him wouldn't be allowed within a squirrel's tooth of the first team. He signed for Tottenham a couple of weeks after this game actually, and then Bayer Leverkusen in 2012, where he still plays. The Croatian has also represented his country at 5 tournaments, earning over 100 caps. Not bad. Tal Ben-Haim. Oh good lord. Tal Ben-Haim. This is like the old Facebook photos your girlfriend doesn't want you to ever see. Tal Ben-Haim is a permanent blotch on the City revolution, a scar that they've attempted to forget by shoving as much money at the defence as they possibly can. The fact that this man has both Chelsea and Man City on his CV, but also QPR, Charlton Athletic and Standard Liège is quite hilarious. The man is such a horrific footballer, seemingly allergic to competent clearances, that he's been unable to hold down a job for long, basically turning up wherever Adam Grant is at. I hope he didn't turn up at the local brothel. He's currently Beitar Jerusalem's problem, God love him, where he forms a centre-back partnership with Carlos Cuellar. That's almost enough to force the home fans to down a litre of vodka before every home game. Michael Ball. Lads, this was just a poor team. For Christ's sake, the players that were substituted on, Kelvin Etuhu, Ched Evans, don't drop the soap lad, and Ademar Hammond fighting off the early stages of rigor mortis. Michael Ball, yeah, he was just a very average left back, wasn't he? The English one-cap wonder was signed by Stuart Pearce in 2007. Nowadays, Pep Guardiola would have him burned at the stake, or just have his contract torn up, one or the other. He retired in 2012 at Leicester City. Vincent Kompany. Big Vince, the most successful player on the list, and he was playing out of position at the start of his City career, attempting to mould him as a defensive midfielder, while playing Ben-Haim as a centre-half. Kompany soon switched to defence and has since lifted 9 trophies in 10 years. Stephen Ireland. Jesus, Stephen Ireland was just a strange fish, wasn't he? When he wasn't turning up to training in pink wheels or fabricating dead grannies, he was actually a half-decent player for City, and held his own amongst his team of superstars. Ireland scored 13 goals in 50 games that season, but before falling off the wagon the following season, he got sold to Aston Villa, quite fitting considering he was the original Jack Grealish. You all know why. A non-existent loan spell to Newcastle occurred 8 years ago before he spent 5 years twiddling his thumbs at Stoke. He's currently 32 and linked with a move to the Bundesliga. What national team would have him now, huh? Michael Johnson. We've touched on a lot of fellows who faded into obscurity on this list. Behold Michael Johnson. Take a good look at your former king. It was actually a sad story with Johnson. Hailed as the new Steven Gerrard around 10 or 11 years ago, it was he who was expected to hold his own in a team full of superstars. A bit like Phil Foden now. But no, injuries destroyed him, mental health problems piled on. It's a real shame about Johnson, retiring in 2012 at the age of 24 to open an estate agent's business. Elano. A man Craig Bellamy seemed to despise for his lack of work ethic, Elano was a part of the talented Brazilian clique which didn't really last long in the northwest of England. The playmaker with 50 caps for Brazil signed for Galatasaray in 2009 and retired in 2016 at Santos, where he's since been hired and fired as an interim coach. Daniel Sturridge. Do you notice a trend with the amount of players on this list whose careers were chopped in two by injuries? Were this City team cursed by some kind of witch doctor or something? 10 years ago, Sturridge was an 18-year-old sensation and big things were expected from him. The Eastlands product signed for Chelsea in 2009 found himself on the bench most of the time, before signing for Liverpool in 2013, where he got off to a great start. 35 goals in his first 2 seasons and nearly winning the league.
And I didn't come to Liverpool to sit on the bench anyway, so...
Well, this is awkward. Since then, his career has been nothing but one big treatment room. He's 28, his international career is in tatters, and he's on the bench. He needs to move on. Martin Petrov, one of Man City's most dangerous attacking outlets back then. Jesus, times were tough, alright. Bulgarian winger Martin Petrov ended up leaving the club in 2010, signing for Bolton, and ended up getting relegated. Good man, Martin. Make sure to give your agent a raise for that one. He retired in 2014 at CSKA Sofia.